He still should pay for his kids' school, whether they have a breakdown in communication now. They his kids.
I'm
Mm,
talking about them grown ass adults. If my daughter decide that she don't want to talk to me no more, I am no longer paying her car note.
At 20?
at 20,
No,
21, 19, you think you
Those
grown?
are
did you
kids.
cut
I
me
mean, your
off?
Them ain't no
kid.
damn kids.
No, you're nah.
Them ain't no
I mean,
damn kids.
my dad got me
If
my first
they that
apartment.
mad at him, they mad at his money too. That's just how
I
it
think
I'm
should be.
with you, Cookie. I'm with
no,
you.
because as a parent, you can't stoop to your child's level. You're
Yes,
gonna
you
maintain.
can.
Does anybody know if they still taking his money,
I think
like
when they were
financially?
they I heard him say that they had like a his plan for the divorce when she had expectations for the amount of money she had was he was going to take on the debt and pay for her apartment for like a year, but she couldn't keep the family home. That was like the totality and the clip
Sweet.
when he explained it.
So, and he paid for somebody to go to college, so they hate him, but not enough to not take his money. That's what I'm getting from. Okay, I feel like there's nothing. My dad, there's nothing. If my parents had ever split up, which they wouldn't have. Um, who said that? Can you put that back up? What did he say? He's financially what? Yeah, I figured he was, but he not good enough to talk to though. Um, I feel like as a mother, my daughter's about to be 20, and I me and her father aren't together, but I am constantly call your dad, call your dad, call your dad. Make sure she's in contact with her father. How's your dad? What's your dad doing? Because after a certain age, it's no longer we co-parenting. It's a call your dad. Make sure he's not gonna be here forever, especially when they're providing income like that. So my whole thing about it is pick your poison. Either cut that man completely off, stop taking his money, or hate his guts, or love him and talk to him. I just don't understand. And I feel like mom is half the problem. Y'all can be mad at me if you want to. Mom should be definitely pressing the fact that her children need to talk to their father. Their horrible relationship has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that he has provided for them a lifestyle that a lot of people don't get. So that is the way I see it. I'm not saying that Gary is perfect. He was obviously a horrible husband, but it seems as though to me that he's been a pretty good father financially. Maybe emotionally he can work on that, but he can't work on that if they don't talk to him. So let's stop taking the man money if you don't want to have nothing to do with him. That's all I'm saying. That's stupid.
But what
All right, so let me just give a little bit of background. See somebody in the chat. Duke and Owen married from 2003 to 2021 before finalizing the highly public and lengthy divorce proceedings that received immense media scrutiny and a public commentary. Um, Owen and Duke share two biological children, Austin and Kennedy. Both children now have reached adulthood and are charting their own independent paths away from the public eye of both of their parents. Duke also, which is the ex-wife, had another son from an early relationship who came under Owen's tutelage. So that's just a little bit of background about it. After the divorce, both Owen and Duke have embarked on new chapters in their life. Owen recently announced his engagement to his fiancee, celebrated the joyful news that twin sons have been born just a year later. In July 2023, the new beginning marked by a joyful expansion of family. Meanwhile, Duke continues his pursuits in media and entrepreneurship. So yeah, just a little bit of history, man. And Precious just said that he does take care of their college, and he does still provide for them. And I believe in an interview. Lastly, I believe in an interview. I think he said that everything was okay up until those twins. Did y'all hear that? Did he say that in there?
I think I think we could take the woman scorn angle, but I do think it's okay to take money from your husband or receive money from your ex-husband. And just because I don't know how many people on the panel are married or if you've ever been married, there's so much that is tied into holding or building a marriage with the person. And when they go, their money goes, but like you're a part of that too. So it's not necessarily LLCs made or stuff like that where it's not muddied up. So I'm not opposed to as a parent being fucking horrible, but still knowing or maybe having guilt or responsibility that you should pay for your child's college. You probably for them to feel the way they feel, you probably fucked them over anyway. So it's like, okay,
And
I'll
that's
pay
not
for it.
always true. That's not always
Probably
true.
that's my thought. I don't know. I don't see it. And also, like she said, she's probably, I mean, two people who are married for a long amount of time, right? Like, if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. Like, they got to be on the same page in some kind of way. That's why they matched. But he still should pay for his kid's school, whether they have a breakdown in communication now. They his kids.
I'm
And
talking about them grown ass adults. If my daughter decides that she don't want to talk to me no more, I am no longer paying her car note.
At 20,
at 20,
No.
21, 19, you think you
those
grown?
are
Did you
kids.
cut
I
me
mean, your
off?
Them ain't no
kids.
damn kids.
No, you're nah.
Them ain't no
I mean,
damn kids.
my dad got me
If
my first
they that
apartment.
mad at him, they mad at his money too. That's just how
I
it
feel
I'm
should be.
with you, Cookie. I'm with
no,
you.
because as a parent, you can't stoop to your child's level. You're
Yes,
gonna
you can.
maintain.
Shit, when
Well,
they
as
get grown,
Yes, you can when they grow.
kids ain't grown at 20.
There they are.
Kids they think they are, but as a parent, you know because you've already hit that age. They're not grown and they not making grown up decisions.
But
Well,
if
you
they
don't want
old,
me
if
in
they
your
old
life.
enough to
I'm gonna
make it,
show you what not being in my life will give you: a job in college.
if they old
Cookie
enough to
would definitely have to
deviate from
say.
your, if they old enough to deviate from what your guidance, then
you grown enough to go out there.
you grown
I
enough to
will
remove
say
your resources from them. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you covering your daughter till she get married or whatever, and she say, "Oh no, I want to do what I want," she want to go bust it open for Tom, Dick, and Harry and get pregnant. Got shit
Welcome
to
to
do.
adulthood.
you shut me up there because I will. I was thinking from son's perspective, but as a daughter, like you said, you gonna cover, make sure she okay until she gets married. You give her away to her husband. I agree with that. So that part I do agree with. But as a parent, if they not, I'm not saying busting it open like you said, but if they're not making the decisions you would make based on your guidance, I sometimes allow that, or my dad has allowed that because we learn from experience and we got to make mistakes so we can learn. And he hasn't said, I'm taking my money back. That's my dad. It just don't make sense to me.
Okay,
I don't understand how they not talking to him and can go cash a Gary Owen check.
Right.
That's my whole
You don't
thing
get to
as
not
an
talk to
adult.
me.
I do want to get some other folks in there, y'all. I know we got to make sure we sharing the mic, y'all. So let's be conscious of that. Go ahead, Shan.
I think it's some missing information here. I think it's something that we just don't know that took place here. That maybe he wasn't comfortable sharing, or he did not want to share. People just don't wake up. My daddy did some stuff, but I love my daddy. I defend him. And so maybe there's something, and maybe Gary knows what that something is, and he just doesn't want to speak on it. Because he didn't go into detail on what took place. He did say maybe I wasn't around. But that happens all the time. You kind of know, and the reason why I say this because you have so many kids who want that clout. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they like to boast about their family. This is my dad. They're proud of him, right? And for them to that not be enough, or maybe let's just say, he's paying the college tuition, that not be enough. Something took place to put that bad taste in their mind. And that's just this is I don't know, but it just seems a little odd to me. The whole thing seems a little, a little weird. And then you said it took place after the kids came into the situation. I mean, think about it like this, and this is so this is like a whatever. Let's look at the Beyonce situation. How he cheated and he had a kid, so Beyonce kind of tossed her dad to the side, right? Because she felt like that was him wronging the mom, right? Y'all know that story. And she had a kid. She doesn't even say the kid is her sibling. Some people take things like that to heart. Like, how did you hurt that? That was like a big no-no. Because just like some women, that's a boundary. Sometimes that's a boundary to kids too. Like, what? You did what to mom? Like you just never know. And we don't know. And sometimes people can see their parents. And this is just on the outside looking at just a scenario. You see your mom doing everything, trying to be there for a person. And then all of a sudden he just cheat and go to another family. Like you're going to be like, damn, that hurt my mom. Like I see how much she put into it to try to hold the family down. And then and so you're going to feel some type of way. And it could be temporary. It could be something they're going through that's just a temporary phase. I'm mad at you for a couple of years. You'll be my dad in 3 years. Like we're going to be back to being that close. But right now, I'm a little pissed off. Maybe that's what the situation is. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you one thing. Something missing in this story. We ain't got the whole story.
I took some advice and did a quick little Google search, and there were some forms of parental alienation on her part. And judging by the interview, he said that the part of the reason that he wished that he was around enough for them to be able to survive the divorce, because he was traveling and all that other shit, so he wasn't even there enough to even be as big of an influence on the children as the mother was. And then when they started going through a nasty divorce, she started saying a lot of things about him publicly, privately, and to a degree, if you consider the law, it could be considered parental alienation to speak negatively of the parent, of the other parent in front of your children, yada yada yada. Now, granted, these kids are also grown, but that can still be, you can still have that influence over your children. So I'm with you, Shan, that I think there's way more to the story, but I do believe that she definitely played a part in how he was viewed by his children, because he even spoke about how the father was contacting his ex-wife, calling him a racist, and how he doesn't really like black people and all of that. So yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and
So
yeah, go ahead, Trey.
So you got to consider this. If, like Sweeney was just touching on, if she demonized him publicly, what do you think was happening behind closed doors? She absolutely had a negative influence on him. Like there's, to me, in my mind, there's no question about that. And I've seen it happen. Mothers, sometimes after a divorce, they will take it out on them, and children are affected. They'll keep you away from them, and they'll just poison their minds. And if they were growing up with that, if they had a few years to deal with that, then yeah. And he'll say, look what he did to our family. Look what he did to our family. And another thing you have to understand is that I had my first child at 28 years old. And if I were to have a child right now, 15 years later, I would be a much better dad. Right? Not because I sucked at 28, but I've just learned more. I've experienced more, right? And my approach would be entirely different. So the things that he's able to do and how he's able to provide for his new children right now is absolutely going to be better. And they're going to notice that. And that can also be weaponized. Oh, he ain't never do that for us. He ain't never do that for us. Look what he doing. Look what he doing with them now. There wasn't even a serious social media presence like that. He probably posts them more than he could have ever possibly posted them publicly or anything. So when you consider that, and that's out of his control, really, right? So he can't even control what it looks like right now. So it's different. He's just going to be a better father. And I'm sure there's some disdain just because of that, because they're realizing that he is doing something better that they couldn't have received before. But yeah, I'm definitely with you on that, Cookie. If you can't, don't take my bread. If you don't mess with me, don't mess with me. It is what it is. You an adult at the end of the day, right? That at 18 is tentative. That's elective at that point, right? If you're gonna act like Darwin was saying, you under my coverage, that's fine. But once you decide, hey, I'm gonna start doing this, okay, well, you go ahead and do you by yourself. I'm not gonna help you. I got nothing for you.
Go ahead, Danny. It's not necessarily elective. Some states cover you until you're out of college, like at a certain age point. But go ahead, you can go, Danny.
Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
understand that
say,
part. I was just saying it for example.
I think Gary, his tune is changing. I'm one of the people that follow the shade room, right? So like now he's saying like he just doesn't understand. He's so confused. It's and it's maybe because he wasn't so present in his life. But when the story first broke, he was like, I was always there for my kids. I don't know how they could do this. I never missed anything. And then now he's admitting to cheating, but then he was like, "Oh, the marriage didn't end because I didn't cheat. It's not about cheating." So he hasn't even been consistent in the reasons. I do think we could. I mean, we could also talk about the cultural issue of like, we put our kids out too fast in the Black community, and we put them down to pasture and let them live their lives. But I think it's more of like I come from like a divorced family too. My parents are divorced, and it was a lot of things that my mom took in stride, and also she bore the brunt of my anger with them breaking up, and she never down talked my father. I didn't even know why they got divorced until I was like 21. So, and I used to at that point I was so angry because I was like, it took so much that I put her through from just being angry and experiencing that. She took it, so she never talked bad about him or anything like that. But I also like to one country cookie. I don't think it's the responsibility of a mother to be like, call your dad. It's up to them to maintain that relationship. So I think it's so many parts, but I just don't. It just doesn't resonate to me that like Shan said, something is missing from this story, and he is not telling it. And maybe the wife doesn't want to say it, and I am projecting, like Sweeney said, because I know my mom didn't say certain things about my dad, even though she knew exactly what it was, and when she said it in front of him, he admitted to it. So it's like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of missing pieces, and he's changing his story with the wind.